When I look back on my life, I realize that there's been one person who has always been by my side, through thick and thin, through storms and sunshine. That person is my younger brother, Daniel. Growing up, I never imagined that he would become my strongest source of strength, encouragement, and unconditional love. Many people say that family is just family, but for me, Daniel has been my anchor, my confidant, and the reason I never gave up during my darkest days. This is the story of how my younger brother supported me through everything. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, where life was simple, but not always easy. Our parents worked hard. Dad was a mechanic who often worked late nights fixing cars, while Mom was a schoolteacher who poured her heart into her students. We didn't have a lot of money, but what we lacked in wealth, we made up for in love. I was the older sibling, 2 years ahead of Daniel, and like many older sisters, I thought I was supposed to be the one looking out for him. In many ways, I did. I protected him from bullies, I helped him with homework, and I taught him how to ride a bike. But what I never expected was that one day, he would be the one protecting me. Not from bullies or math problems, but from life itself. When I was in high school, I started struggling with anxiety. At first, I didn't even know what it was. I just thought I was nervous or overly emotional. But soon, simple things like giving a presentation in class or even walking into the cafeteria felt like climbing a mountain. My heart would race, my palms would sweat, and my thoughts would spiral out of control. I hid it from most people, but Daniel noticed. He always noticed. One afternoon, after I had locked myself in my room because I couldn't bring myself to go to school dance, Daniel knocked on my door. He was only a freshman then, still figuring himself out, but his words surprised me. "Emily," he said softly, "it's okay if you don't want to go, but I just want you to know you don't have to feel bad about it. You're still amazing, even if you don't feel like it right now." That was the first time I realized that Daniel had a gift for understanding me in a way no one else did. He didn't push me, he didn't make me feel weak, he simply reminded me that I was enough. That night, instead of going to the dance, we made popcorn, watched movies, and laughed until our stomachs hurt. And for the first time in weeks, I felt light again. As we grew older, life threw more challenges my way. College was supposed to be exciting, but for me, it was overwhelming. I moved to a campus far from home, and suddenly everything felt foreign. I struggled with the workload, the pressure to make friends, and the weight of expectations. There were nights I cried silently in my dorm room, wishing I could just go back home. And whenever it got too hard, I called Daniel. He was still in high school then, but his voice was steady, calm, and reassuring. "Emily," he would say over the phone, "you've got this. You've always had this. Remember when you taught me how to ride a bike? I fell 100 times, but you never gave up on me. So don't give up on yourself now. Just take it one day at a time." Sometimes I wondered how someone younger than me could be so wise. But that was Daniel. He had this quiet strength that made you believe everything would be okay, even when the world felt like it was crumbling. There was a moment in college when I truly thought I wouldn't make it. I had failed a major exam, and I felt like I had let everyone down. I called Daniel in tears, telling him I wanted to quit. He listened patiently, and then he said something I'll never forget. "Emily, failing one test doesn't make you a failure. It makes you human. You've always told me that mistakes are how we learn. So maybe this is just one of those lessons. But don't let it stop you from chasing your dream." Those words carried me through the rest of college. I picked myself back up, worked harder, and eventually graduated. At my graduation ceremony, when I looked out into the crowd, I saw Daniel clapping louder than anyone else, his smile brighter than the sun. He was proud of me, but what he didn't realize was how much of that achievement belonged to him too. Life after college wasn't easy either. I entered the workforce full of hope, only to face rejection after rejection. Job applications went unanswered, interviews ended in polite declines, and my confidence began to crumble. Once again, Daniel was there. He helped me rewrite my resume, practiced interview questions with me, and reminded me daily that my worth wasn't defined by a job title. Eventually, I landed my first job, and I knew I couldn't have done it without him. But perhaps the hardest moment of my life came a few years later, when our mother fell seriously ill. The news shook our family to its core. Mom, the strongest woman we knew, suddenly needed us to be strong for her. I remember sitting in the hospital waiting room, my hands trembling, my heart aching with fear. Daniel sat beside me, holding my hand the entire time. He didn't say much, but his presence was enough. It reminded me that I wasn't alone. During those months, Daniel and I took turns caring for Mom, driving her to appointments, cooking meals, and keeping her spirits up. There were nights when I broke down, convinced I couldn't handle the weight of it all. And every time, Daniel reminded me, "We're in this together. You don't have to carry it alone." Those words became my lifeline. We leaned on each other, and together, we made it through. Mom eventually recovered, and that experience taught me the true depth of my brother's love and strength. Now, as adults, our bond is stronger than ever. Daniel has his own life, his own dreams, and his own struggles. But no matter where life takes us, we never stop being there for each other. Sometimes I'm the one lifting him up, reminding him of his worth, encouraging him to keep going. And other times, it's him lifting me. That's the beauty of our relationship. It's built on unconditional support, mutual respect, and endless love. Looking back, I realize that the story of my life isn't just my story. It's our story. The story of two siblings who walked through fire together, who faced storms hand in hand, who never let each other fall too far. Daniel may be my younger brother, but in so many ways, he's also been my protector, my guide, and my best friend. And so, whenever people ask me how I've managed to overcome so many challenges, I smile and say the truth. Because my younger brother supported me through everything. Family isn't always perfect. There are arguments, differences, and difficult moments. But when you have someone who stands by you no matter what, it changes everything. For me, that person has always been Daniel. And I will forever be grateful for the gift of his love. This is not just a story of siblinghood. It's a story of resilience, of unconditional support, and of the power of love to carry us through life's hardest battles. And as I sit here today, writing these words, I know one thing with absolute certainty. No matter what the future holds, I will never be alone. Because my younger brother will always be there, supporting me through everything.